we head across the border for possibly the final round of the Malaysian Grand Prix in the OC. We're here for round 16 of the 2017 OC Championship. The 12th time the Malaysian Grand Prix will be here at Sepang. It could be the final ever Malaysian Grand Prix, depending on what happens in 2020 if Hanoi gets added in, and also with the fantasy car performances. And this circuit was the first Tilkdrome to be built from scratch. 4 teams have won here over the past 12 seasons, and here they are on your screen. We've had Woolnella winning here a few times. We've had Jamie Kenty, who's won here for the last 3 years in a row. We've had Mingles Gao, Volker, Willows, Southgate, Sontag, Volker. A whole host of names have won here, so it's going to be very interesting to see if that remains the same for this season. The lap record set by Florian Volker back in 2013, a 131.552, 56 laps, a circuit length of 5.543 kilometers, 15 corners. So it's going to be interesting to see if Mackenzie can keep up his excellent form at this moment in time. Of course, him winning the last round in Singapore. So let's see if he can keep it up here in Malaysia. The tyres we'll be using, of course, will be the ultra soft tyres. And the driver of the day from last time out was given to Felix Sontag for a very impressive performance, I have to say. And the race rating being an 8.3. But anyway, here is the starting grid for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and on the front row it is Florian Volker for Ferrari ahead of Amar Kar in second position. I should note as well that qualifying was in wet conditions in Q3 and generally throughout the whole of qualifying. Row 2 is Joseph Willows for Ferrari and Jay McKenzie for Mercedes. Row 3 is Tiravi Now Tiran, a great performance by him in the Renault, ahead of Franco Lopez for Force India. Lopez, who finally finished in Singapore after a whole host of bad luck that he's had over the season. Rick Yan and Joel Hutter 7th and 8th for Force India and Haas, good qualifying by Hutter as well. Franco Gamba 9th for Toro Rosso, Roberto Gamba 10th for McLaren. It should be noted as well that Hutter was actually top of Q2 in a wet dry session. Michael Mocho 11th and Miguel Scal 12th, disappointing qualifying for him. On row 7 of the grid we have Woolnella from Mercedes, not what he would have wanted at all, and George Roque alongside him in 14th. On the 8th row of the grid we have the 2 Saubers of Felix Sontag and Paulino Tomaselli. Row 9 of the grid is Evan Byrne for Renault and Julius Anderson for Williams. On the 10th row of the grid we have Oliver Glazebrook and Roland Moitian for McLaren and Williams, and on the final row of the grid we have Etienne Jones and Nicolas Zorbach for Manor. And so there we are, that is the grid for Malaysia. But before we go to the race, here are the team news, and they concern Manor, with Etienne Jones remaining at Manor for yet another season, and Maxime Titkov will be promoted to the top class to drive for Manor, as he's currently in GP2 and in contention for the title. So congratulations to him, another Russian on the grid, the first one since I think Surkov back in 2008. But race-wise it will be a dry start, however it will get wet in the middle of the race, or probably fairly soon at the start. 45% chance of rain, so this is going to be very interesting to see. You can see the rain looks to already be on the camera, so at the moment it is dry, but it is going to be a fascinating race here in Malaysia, as we now have 5 lights on and we're underway, and Volker's made a pretty good start from the first row with Carl alongside him in second as they head towards turn 1. The question is, will everyone get through safely? And Volker has made a pretty excellent start. Carl might get overtaken by Mackenzie in the Mercedes into the first corner. Mackenzie just about along the inside, but it's a long... And oh, there's contact. There's cars off at the back. I think Willows was off. I think there's a Ferrari off, and Jan is out. Willows has spun, but has got no damage. But Jan is out of the race, and what on earth has happened to him at the first corner? So let's have a look and see. Now he was running... he hadn't made actually a particularly good start himself. The Toro Rosso of Franco Gava making a pretty excellent start, and he drops behind him, and then heading towards the first corner. Does he go into the front? He must go into Willows. And look at the Red Bull there of Gal, just taking advantage and moving up several positions. And I think Jan was hit from behind, and it looks to be, was it Roberto Gamba? But you could just look at Gal just sneaking through there, slithering through on the inside. And yes, it was Roberto Gamba who made a bit of contact himself, and then he got spun around. Roberto Gamba did a whole 360, but I believe he looked like he actually got away without any damage as well. And yeah, there was the contact with Franco Gamba, so the 2 Gambas are making contact, but no damage to them. But Jan is out. Willows is still going, but he's at the back of the grid. But at the moment now, Tiran's made a great start up to 4th position, so this is a very high running for him. Nella's made a good start as well. Sontag is up. There's so many cars that move up many positions on the first lap. But at the moment, Volker's already got a decent lead to Mackenzie in front of him. Kara's all over the back of Mackenzie though, as they head towards the last sector of the lap, heading towards the back straight and then towards the start-finish straight. I definitely like the stands here. They're definitely very, very good looking as they head on towards the back straight. And will Carr make a move on the inside of Mackenzie for second? He's just about alongside him as they head towards the final corner. He's on the inside, and is Carr through? The answer is yes, he is. There's plenty of room. As now Tiranen has been passed as Lopez has absolutely launched it down the inside into the final corner for 4th position there. So good move there by the Argentine as the cars head towards turn 1 for the second time. Mackenzie now trying to get back at Carr into the first corner. He's on the inside, and he's going to take it straight back, is he? Unless Carr can hold it around the outside, which he's trying to, but he can't. So Mackenzie is through up, back up into second place. But the more they keep battling, the more that's going to allow Florian Volker to get away up front. Gal's made an unbelievable start. He's already up into the top 6 after just 2 laps, and he's all over the back of now turning in the Renault. He's going to try and squeeze through on the inside. Oh, there's contact. There's a bit of contact, but they get away without any damage as Nella has snuck through past Mocho for 7th. Gamba has passed Sontag for 11th, who was running in 10th. He's lost a couple of positions. But Gamba's being shoved out wide. Got a terrible run through there. Jones is trying to sneak through. He can't. Moitin is now going to sneak through past Jones. And Zorbach there, who's just hanging onto the back of the pack. Willis, who's got past Zorbach. Card trying desperately to get back past Mackenzie. He can't do it there. And already quite an extraordinary first 2 laps. There's overtaking everywhere. Everything is happening at the moment. Obviously rain is still on the camera, but it's not, I don't think, going to happen until at least probably about maybe lap 10 or so. As Carr struggling for grip there, goes a little bit wide. That could allow Franco Lopez to catch up. And the question is, will he be close enough to make a move into the final corner? I'm not sure he's quite in the slipstream as they head towards the final turn. But at the moment, here's the battle between Will Nella and Miklas Gal, one possible title contender. And Nella trying to go around the outside of Gal. He's not going to quite make it stick there, is he? No. As there's a battle behind, I just saw as well. I don't know who it was. I think it was Hutter launching it up the inside of Mocho, and he makes it stick. There's Anderson and Franco Gamba also involved in it. And Gamba trying to make it through past Anderson there. He can't make it stick, but Mocho might try and get back past him. The 2 Saubers are battling as well. Nella and Gal is still yet again battling. Gal has got the line on the inside. Hutter and... oh, that's so close. Hutter and Mocho battling into the first corner. They get away without no damage, but now Franco Gamba is going to try and go around the outside of Hutter, and I think he might get the run off the corner here. And the answer is yes, he will. So Hutter's lost out badly. He's lost incredibly badly there. He's lost out to Anderson as well, who himself has gone up from 18th to 10th in just 3 laps. Now he's all over the back of Franco Gamba. Everything is happening. Tomaselli and Sontag are battling, and Sontag, who had made a great start, unfortunately just the pace of the car is not good, but Hutter lost out incredibly badly there. Lost about 3 positions in just a couple of corners there, and now Carr is still sticking behind Mackenzie as the 2 Saubers really badly. They're holding up this big gaggle of cars. There's Glazebrook, Roke and Byrne, who are stuck behind them as well. As we head towards the hairpin, there's been many moves made here. We're looking on board with Roke, coming up behind Glazebrook as Byrne goes into the back of Roke there, but fortunately no damage. We've seen damage come from lesser impacts than that, so they're quite lucky. Carr, once again, all over the back of Mackenzie, heading onto the back straight. And is he going to make the move into the final corner? He's all in the slipstream. At the moment, I mean, Volker's not actually getting away as much as I thought he would. It's only about 2 seconds. But if the more they keep battling, the less chance they'll have of getting Volker's. Car's on the inside. He now passes Mackenzie for second place, but Mackenzie's going to get the run off him into the first corner if he's close enough in the slipstream. As Carr actually, despite overtaking Mackenzie, has actually set the fastest lap, but Mackenzie's going to get right back. Carr is going to push him out, but Mackenzie's surely going to make it back on the inside, and the answer is yes, he is. So he takes it right back, and now Franco Lopez is coming into this battle for second place, and Lopez might try and go around the outside of Carr if he's got the run. No, he hasn't. Can't make it stick through there, but now Carr is right on the back of Mackenzie. They head towards turn 4. This is going on. Imagine this happens the whole race. As we look at Carr, is he going to try and make it on the inside? No, Mackenzie defends. And Carr finally backs off. Now Tiranen still holding 5th. Nella on the inside of Gal. They both made great recoveries, and they have not made contact yet. Now Tiranen's holding his own in 5th position at the moment. Not quite got the pace of the front-running cars, although it's not surprised in the Renault. But Sontag is really struggling. He's down to 16th now. He was running in... he's battling with his teammate before, but he is all over the place. Now this is Evan Byrne, who is making a move on the inside of him, heading into turn 4. Was there contact? The answer was... yes, there was actually a fair whack there on the side of his car. Now here's Joseph Willows on the back of Etienne Jones, who's dropped off actually, who's quite far off the pack, as Willows is on the inside of Jones. Oh, there's contact. Willows is around, and there's Zorbach, who's trying to get through. They're stuck behind the cars, and now they're going to try and... oh dear, that's a pretty embarrassing crash for both drivers there. That is another retirement for Zorbach, so you got to feel sorry for the guy. But yeah, that's, I think, what, 7 retirements in 8 races now. And yeah, I mean, that's not really much more that can be said about that. That was quite an embarrassing crash, I have to say. But Jones has also lost his front wing as well. That won't help him either, so double whammy there for Manor, as Carr and Mackenzie yet again battling for second. Carr this time gets back through past Mackenzie, and Lopez, he's hanging on the back end of the guys, but he just hasn't quite got the pace to overtake them, no matter how much they're battling. But it looks like Carr might have actually finally completed it and will hold it for at least a lap, or maybe. But we're looking at Nella and Gal, who are still battling over 6th position, and now Tiernan is just looking in the mirrors and seeing these guys all over each other and hoping they can keep doing that. But they're now actually closing to the back as Gal has the position over Nella, and Gal is now right behind the Renault of now Tiernan as they head towards turn 4. And now Tiernan had a great qualifying. I mean, he has been unlucky, definitely has deserved more luck than he's got now, Tiernan. He's shown great pace in that Renault, but unfortunately bad luck and, well, a combination of bad luck and bad driving has really affected him, as Carr just looks really just skating on ice there, really struggling for grip in that car. But now Mackenzie is under pressure from Lopez, although he backs off coming through the double right-hander, so he's not going to make the move stick there. He's lost a huge amount of momentum through there, that's not good for him, as they head towards the left-hander, heading towards the end of the second sector. Oh no! And Gal has gone into the back of now Tiernan, and Gal has lost his rear wing. And I was saying about now Tiernan's bad luck, commentator's curse, and that has happened yet again. So what happened here? So Gal was on the back of now Tiernan. Did Nella make any contact? And the answer is yes, they did. Nella went into the back of Gal, went into the back of now Tiernan, chain reaction. I don't think actually Nella got any damage from that, so he is taken 5th position. Which is good for him in the championship, of course. Well, it's good for him right now because at the moment Willows is out, so for him it would be the perfect. Oh, as Gal is in the way of the Toro Rosso there of Franco Gamba, and I think he lost a position there, but that was quite sketchy. But as I was saying, Willows is out, so this is the perfect opportunity for Nella, with Willows being out, to extend his lead. It's only a point after the last round in Singapore, so it's very, very tight indeed. But at the moment he's up to P5, and that's a good position for him to be in. He's finally in clear air as well, as Mocho is coming through turn 2. He seems to be struggling a little bit for grip, as Hutter is now going to be on the back of him. But Gal is now in the pits and will have fresher tyres, so we'll see how long it goes. Of course, it'll be interesting to see when the rain comes as well. There isn't any rain on the screen, I don't think, as Hutter goes into the side of him, and he gets away without any damage. But now Mocho loses the position to Tomaselli, who moves up into P9. Tomaselli once again driving a great race at the moment. Mocho got shoved out wide there, and there's Glazebrook and Roke just behind. Now Tiernan, of course, in the pits. Volker's still got, well, I mean, the lead's coming down actually. It's down to 1.6, but Carr definitely is quicker than Mackenzie. But of course, he probably would have got up to Volker by now if he hadn't been battling with Mackenzie for the first 5 laps and constantly swapping positions every single lap. But unfortunately, they have been, so there we are. But we're on lap 6, and we've had an absolute ton of action in this race. And this is even before we get to the rain, when the rain will come. But at the moment, Volker out in the lead, and he's had it pretty easy so far. But Carr looks to be pretty quick. He's definitely closer, I think, than he ever has been before. Let's see what the gap is over the line, as Gal is all over the place in that Red Bull. I mean, just pitted, and he just about holds it together there. But he's just come out the pit, so obviously cold tyres on a track which is probably a little bit slippery, because there has been rain on the camera, so you just got to be very careful, because he just gets it on the curb and loses it, and he just about manages to keep control of the car. But yeah, there we are. It's not good for Gal, though. It'll be interesting to see, though, what happens with regards to well, if Nella gets a penalty for that incident. But Carr is now right on the back of Volker, who got a really bad run coming on to the back straight here, so I wonder if Carr might make a move into the final corner if he's close enough. He's just about in the slipstream. Meanwhile, Nella is on the back of Mackenzie, who, as I think, has been passed by Lopez, I think, and Nella is going to go past his teammate here, probably team orders, now that Mackenzie's lost the position. Nella's on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? The answer is yes, he does. He's now up into P4, which is exactly what he needs, although, to be fair, Mackenzie, this is what happened. So he did make a mistake. He went wide coming onto the back straight, and Franco Lopez took the position. An unnecessary mistake by Mackenzie, but of course, team orders wise, I would say it will be difficult as well, because Mackenzie has been on form for the last few races, and he's got himself, I'd say, into title contention. So he may not be necessarily be happy. Well, he's made the mistake, but of course Nella's got through as well. So we'll see what happens between those two. But this could get very, very scary indeed. So they need to make sure they stay away from each other and just think about the championship. And now here is Carr on the back of Volker. Is he going to make the move? He's just about squeezing him on the inside. They're almost pushing through the corner. Volker's gone wide though, and Carr takes the lead of this race. And Volker, who had it comfortable, unfortunately, not the quickest car, the Ferrari it seems. And Carr, who was pushing it through, really put him under pressure there. And unfortunately, Volker flapped under pressure and has relinquished the lead to Amar Carr. Now here is Will Nella, who's on the back of Franco Lopez in this battle for P3. He's going to make a move surely on the inside. He's in the slipstream. He's going to try and is he going to swap to the left? No, Lopez actually holds the position. And actually Volker's not that far in front actually as they come on to the pit straight, and Will is almost pushing Lopez through the corner there. And McKenzie, they've got a yellow flag out somewhere. Something's happened at the something has happened, and now Turunen is out of the race, and that has really just summed up his season right there. And he has got, I think it was, I don't know what the problem was, but it looked to be a mechanical. Oh no! And Nello's gone into the side of Lopez at turn 1, and Lopez is out. Oh my word! And well, I think Nello's going to get a penalty for one of the two incidents. I don't know which one, but he's going to get a penalty nonetheless. I'd be surprised if he didn't. I don't know. But Lopez is out. That is very, very unfortunate for him. Let's have a look at that again. So Nella was trying to make a move on the inside of Lopez into the first corner, but of course there was a yellow flag out, so maybe he thought at the last minute, having seen the yellow flags, because where is it? There's one, and is there another one? Yeah, there's the second one there, and well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably a combination of both, really. Nella tried to stick it on the inside. It was never going to work, but of course there were yellow flags out as well, so maybe he should have thought better. But Lopez did move across him, so I don't know what is going to be said about that one. I said I'd be surprised if Nella doesn't get a penalty for the first incident. That one is a little more, I don't know, can't quickly think of the word really, but maybe a little bit controversial, I guess. But at the moment, we're looking at Mocho in 9th position, who's made a big mistake. He's, wow, going through that. If you make a mistake through that corner, then that was very sketchy, and he almost took out Roke in the process there. And he's lucky there that he braked coming through there, otherwise Mocho would have gone right into that. Was so scary. That could be a terrible incident. We've seen many cars go off there before in seasons, and Roke was lucky not to be taken out there by Mocho's car. But this is the battle for P9. This is Mocho, Roke and Byrne, who have recovered from their, well, from qualifying. Roke up 4 positions, sorry. Byrne trying to recover from what was a bad qualifying for him. Byrne is going to make a move on the inside of Roke into turn 1. Has he got it done? Yes, he has. So he moves up into 10th position, sorry. And now Roland Moichin is there as well, so he could get involved in this gaggle of cars. Let's see if Byrne can catch up to the back of Mocho in front. And Moichin is close to the back of Roke. I don't know if he's close enough to make a move into the corner. No, Roke is moving about a little bit all over the place. Mackenzie right now running in P3, and he's actually got the Toro Rosso of Franco Gamba right behind him, and Mackenzie seems to be struggling for pace here. If Franco Gamba is managing to catch up to him, which it seems, well, he is, hence why he's closing up to the back of his car. So Mackenzie's struggling. How much fuel has he got? It looks like he's probably going to be on a 2-stop, although well, it depends on the weather. The rain will come, but of course it'll be the question of how much it will rain and what tyres need to be in. Of course, we've got the wet tyres, but we also have the extreme tyres. And looking at Carr, he's already got a 5-second gap over Volker, and this is in the dry, so that is going to be very interesting to see when it comes to the rain what happens. But he's certainly got some pace, does Carr. But the question is, has Franco Gamba tried to make a move on Mackenzie? The answer is no, but he's right behind him, as you can see in the background, and so he's surely going to make a move into the first corner, is Gamba, and he's going to go for it, it looks like. Is he? And the answer is he can't make it stick there, but Mackenzie's locked up. He's gone wide, and Gamba might make it through here. And has he done it? I'm not sure. Can Gamba get a run off the corner? And yes, he can. And he moves up into 3rd position. So what a performance it is so far from Franco Gamba. He is on light fuel as well, I might add, but that's still pretty impressive to pass the Mercedes, which is by far the fastest car on the grid. But we'll have a look at that again. So Gamba was all over the back of Mackenzie and coming into the first corner, and Mackenzie did try and move over a little bit, but unfortunately just braked a little bit, lost grip into the corner, and Gamba just has the fresher tyres, and well, well, I say fresher tyres, but with lighter fuel, just goes around the outside and says thank you very much, and has the line through the corner and takes the position. So great work there by the Toro Rosso driver. But here's Carr, who has got a big lead over Volpi. You can't even see him coming onto the straight yet. And here is Franco Gamba running in P3 as Byrne is all over the back of Mocho, and he's finally made it through into the hairpin there. Good move there by Evan Byrne. He's been stuck behind for a couple of laps now, but good move there by the Irishman. Mocho, who is also seemingly struggling with his tyres, but it seems actually Byrne has got a very heavy fuel load, but Mocho must have as well, hence why he seems to be struggling so much. But there we go, and we look at Byrne making the move, and he really went for it on the inside there. It was so nearly contact between the two. There's always seems to be a crash at that hairpin every year. Well, there has already been this season, but every year there seems to be something that happens there, and it's very difficult to overtake there without making any contact. But now here is Roque, who's on the back of Michael Mocho in the Toro Rosso, who's really struggling. Roque is on quite light fuel as well, or is on lighter fuel I should say, as Roque makes it through on the inside. A pretty easy move there, and he makes it past Mocho, and now Mocho is probably going to be under pressure from the Williams behind of Roland Moitian as they come through the fast sweeping left onto the right, now into the double right-hander. So Nella now up in 13th position, having changed his tyres, so he's now trying to make his way back up the order, and so it's going to be important for him. I was about to say, of course, the thing is, at the moment he'll still keep the championship lead because Willis is out, so I suppose it's not that bad at the moment as we look at Franco Gamba, who is going to be pitting this lap for Toro Rosso. This could be interesting to see where he comes out onto the circuit, because it looks like he may be on a 3-stop strategy. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see as he comes into the pits, but so far he's had a great race, and I mean, passing Mercedes is definitely an achievement in itself, particularly when you're in a much slower car than they are. So as we look at Franco Gamba coming into the pits for the first time, of the incident between Zorbach and Willers, no further action, which I think is probably fair enough. It was just a bit of silliness from both drivers, to be honest. But as we look at Franco Gamba coming into the pits for his first stop, let's see how much fuel they put in. Do they put in a lot? That's going to be interesting to see if they do a 3-stop or not. And yes, and Nena has received a 10-second time penalty for causing the incident with Nautron and Gal. I suspected that would happen, and it has, so there we go. So not good, unfortunately, for him. As we look at Roque on the inside of Mocho, and he's through, and Moichin might try and get Mocho as well, and I think he has he? Yes, no, yes he has. And Franco Gamba has come out actually behind this big group of cars, so he's got a little bit of time to get to them, but I think Roque will be hitting fairly soon, but Mocho will need to let Gamba through because he'll be quicker than him by far. As we look at Nella, who is, well, crucially for Gamba, actually comes out ahead of Nella, but Nella's on fresher tyres as well, so we'll see if Gamba can get away or not. And Nella has received actually a 25-second time penalty. Now, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure if that was a penalty or not, but it is. And I mean, that still seems a little bit excessive, though. I think the other one was definitely a more slap-on penalty than the Lopez one, I think. But is what it is. As we look at Byrne in 8th position, who locked up, obviously coming into the corner there. Roque is closing up behind him. He's a few seconds off because he's only just got past Mocho. Now Franco Gamba is already there, so he needs to get past Mocho ASAP. And so Mocho is going to try and, I suppose, defend into the coming into the back straight here, and surely he's going to make the move into the final corner, because Mocho just should put up no defence really, because Gamba's on much fresher tyres and is clearly on a different strategy than Mocho is. So as Gamba's going to make a move on the inside, is he? Yes, no, oh god, that's very, very sketchy indeed. But Gamba's not made it through there, and now he's going to have to wait until the first corner, but he'll just get in the slipstream and go past him, I imagine, pretty easy. Being on fresher tyres, he's going to move to the inside, and Mocho is going to let him through, I think, pretty easy. He's not really putting up a defence, which is, well, which he shouldn't. And Gamba is through up to 11th, but now he's got the Williams to deal with, as Mocho goes very, very wide. And he might allow Warnella to go by here as well if he's not careful. But Gamba, look at that, he's already onto the back of Mocho. So much better acceleration and grip through the corner there. Now Gamba's surely going to make it on the inside here, although Moito's not making it easy for him, and there's somehow not contact, as Nella's still not made it past Mocho yet, but Gamba needs to get past Moito ASAP, otherwise this will hurt his strategy. at this moment in time, and Mackenzie's not too far away from pitting. But Carr, I have to say, has got insane pace in that Red Bull. He's 11 seconds clear of Florian Volker, and he's 17 seconds. He's almost a pit stop ahead of Mackenzie in third at this moment in time, so that is quite something. Gamma now all over the back of the Williams as Nella's going to try it on the inside of Mocho. He fails, he can't do it there. So as they come through towards the end of the second sector, and Nella's going to have to wait until the back straight to make the move. Gamba all over the back of Moichin. He really needs to get past him very quickly here, otherwise this is going to hurt his strategy quite badly. The Sauber of Tomaselli is coming into the pits this lap as well. Gamba's coming through the final corner and onto the back straight, or the penultimate corner I should say. Mocho is now under pressure from Wunella as well, as we're looking at Gamba, who's going to probably try and swap to the inside because he's on the wrong side behind the Williams. He's going to go on the inside. Is he? Yes, no, yeah. Oh, and well, he has, and he's spun him round. Oh no! Oh, you've got to be kidding me! Oh no! And that is oh dear, and that is not good at all. Warnella is out. So the good news is he'll keep the championship lead. The bad news is it'll still be 1 point, but you could just see that coming, didn't you? You could see that coming from a mile away. And unfortunately, Moichin is out, and Nella unfortunately was caught up there. He would have had to go a whole lap with a broken wing, but I think he would have rather had that than, well, him not racing anymore. So that was definitely a very unfortunate incident there, but that has taken Wunella out, and that's good news for the rest of the guys there. So that's good news for Mackenzie, good news for Carr, good news for Volker, it's good news for all of those guys. But wow, what a dramatic race we've had. We've only been going 17 laps as well. This has felt like it's gone on for longer, but this has all happened within 17 laps. And this is even before we get to the rain, so this is quite insane. So there we go. But now Gamma on the back of Roke, who is, I imagine, is going to be pitting in a couple of laps time. Well, the Roke got a terrible exit off that corner there. Got a little bit twitchy. So Gamba's going to be on the back of him like a cheap suit. And he's going to surely overtake Roke on either the back straight or the front straight. So as they come through, heading towards the penultimate corner, I think it's turn 14, I believe. And then turn 15 is the final corner. But Gamba is all over the back of Roke, and he's surely going to make the move either at the next corner or at turn 1. Gamba just about in the slipstream of Roke. He's going to then move to the left, I think, and then go to the inside. Hopefully the same thing won't happen again. Although Roke really defending quite vigorously. That's just so close. How they've not made contact there, I've no idea. Gamba's on the outside of Roke, heading towards the first corner. Joel Hutter, Roke's teammate, actually is in the pits this lap. As they head towards the first corner, Gamba's surely going to swap to the inside, is he, and make the move? And the answer is yes, he will, by punting Roke and spinning. So the answer is no, he hasn't made the move. That's not worked out at all, and Roke is actually going to be pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. And that has really, really affected Gamba, who's gone onto the grass there and lost a position to Mocho as well. And he's come out just ahead of the Red Bull of Miklos Gau. And that has really, really backfired on Franco Gamba there. And particularly the fact that Roke was actually pitting this lap as well. So he'll hope to get away from Gal, but Galazon is a very quick car. He's in a very quick car, and he's a very quick driver as well. But at the moment, actually, Amar Carr is coming into the pits. His lead was 13 seconds. He'll come out just behind Mackenzie, and I think he'll come out. If he comes out ahead of Anderson, that would be best for his strategy because he'd be in clear air. So Carr has looked pretty quick in the dry, but let's see what happens when it comes to the wet. I mean, the clouds are coming over, and that's a lot of fuel, so it looks to be definitely the two-stopper. So I mean, for the two-stopper is definitely the right way to go, but Carr has looked so quick at this moment in time. I don't see how anyone's going to stop him right now, as actually the pit lane looks to be getting actually a bit wet, so that could make it very, very interesting. The pit lane entry there looked quite damp, so that is interesting. I reckon the rain's going to be coming in the next few laps, so I think the guys who pit now, I mean, I don't know if they're going to regret it per se, but depending on, well, they need to pretty much just go through their tyres, just absolutely burn through them as quickly as possible, because that's, of course, when the rain comes. Well, dry, I mean, you all know, dries in wets don't work, and wets in dries don't work. I.e., you know, back in real life, Malaysia 2009, Kimi Raikkonen, that's the prime example I can think of here. As we look at Roke, who's coming into the pits as well this lap, And so he will be going on to the dries, I suppose, temporarily. And actually, to be honest, actually the track looks to be getting wet now. Actually, so this is where we get to the nitty gritty. This is where we get to what teams are going to do what strategies, and well, who's going to come out on top. So at the moment, car is pitted, but of course, I don't know how much fuel Volker has got in, and how much more fuel he's got. But as we look at this battle here between Gal, Gamba, and Julius Anderson, and Gal makes it through past the Toro Rosso there, and now Roberto Gamba is trying to make it through on Sontag into the corner. That's that's a spectacular crash. Sontag is out, Roberto Gamba is around, and you could just see that coming as well, couldn't you? And oh dear me, another big crash here in Malaysia, and another driver out of the race. So, and Florian Volker actually is pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. So he will come out obviously behind car, but the question is, will Mackenzie try and stay out and, well, just keep going until maybe the rain comes? Because it looks like the rain is coming, or it is here, because some parts of the track do look slightly damp. And, oh, hold on, Volker's going on the wet tyres. Oh, now that is interesting. I don't think the track, I mean, it looks wet in the pit lane, but the track itself looks pretty dry still, although actually the last corner looked quite wet. Glazebrook is in as well, but he was coming in this lap anyway. So will Glazebrook come out onto the wet tyres? If he doesn't, well, I don't know. I really don't know. It looks to be getting wet, the circuit, but is it still not wet enough for wet tyres? And we'll see what tyres they put on Glazebrook's car. Will they put on dries or wets? Because they put wets on Volker. Will they put wets on for... They have put wets on for Glazebrook. Okay, so... But the question is, obviously, it's still dry enough for the dries. So I think it would take maybe a couple laps for it... Well, as long as it keeps raining. It looks pretty damp coming through the final corner there. There's a big battle going on here between Tomaselli, Roque, Tomaselli, Hutter, and Franco Gamba in front. As you know, that's Michael Mocho, sorry. As we're looking through, as Tomaselli making a move on the inside, and he gets past Joel Hutter for ninth position. I mean, round the first corner here, it looks pretty dry to me, so I don't know. Round there it looks dry, around here it's pretty dry. It looks slightly damp, but I don't think it's quite enough for the wet tyres yet, as the yellow flag is still out for Sontag's car, who's getting pushed away. But, oh, I don't know. I'm really not sure. Jones is coming into the pits. I imagine he'll probably try and go onto the wets. Mackenzie. Now, this could work out pretty well for Mackenzie, actually, because he's going to be pitting in probably a lap or so's time. And I think that might be around about the perfect time for the wet tyres. At the moment, car is all over the back of Mackenzie as they come onto the back straight. The circuit is looking pretty damp now, but look at the grip the car's got. He's alongside Mackenzie onto the back straight, but he's, I think, slightly backing off. He's going to try and swap to the inside, but this could actually be a battle for the lead. And there's the spray, so here we go. Now I think the time is, and now Mackenzie's going into the pits. So, and oh, actually, interestingly, Jones has actually gone onto the intermediate tyres. Now that is a very interesting. He's the only one, I think, to do so. The rest of them have gone on to the wets, but it's looking pretty wet now. The rain has officially come, and Glazebrook is just going to absolutely steam past Mocho around the outside on the dry tyres. Look at that, he's skating around Mocho. He's got no grip at all, so surely he's going to have to pit. Anyone on dries is surely going to have to pit now, and I think Jones is in a pretty favourable position. Mackenzie's gone onto the wet tyres, but Jones, I think, so far, is the one who has, well, the Manor team have thought the best strategy, I think, because at the moment, it's time for the wet tyres, but I think the intermediates are the perfect way to go. Anyone on the dries is going to be struggling, and they're surely got to go in. I mean, round probably the end of the second sector / start the third is the only bit that seems pretty dry at this moment in time. Lap times, and just couldn't quite see there, but it looks to be the Manor seem to be closing. This is the battle for P4. Byrne and Anderson on dries, and they're really battling hard here in these tricky conditions. So here we go, Anderson going around the outside of Byrne, and he looks to take fourth position, and he will do so. What a great move there by the Swede. And he goes around the outside of Anderson, goes around the outside of Byrne, sorry, got made to look a bit of a fool. Franco Gamba at the moment still running in an excellent third position, but I think car's going to have to come into the pits pretty soon. But here we go, we're looking at Mackenzie, who, look at him closing up to the back. I think this is a Byrne, so the wet tyres are absolutely the way to go. But Byrne is not letting Mackenzie go through very easily here, but he's just gone wide and really screwed himself over there. So now is the time, but the crucial thing is for Carr, he's got a 27-second lead over Volker, so he'd still actually come out in front on these wet tyres. So actually, I think that's still worked out pretty well for Carr. I'm surprised at the gap. I thought it would be a lot smaller than that, but I think Carr needs to come in now if he wants to preserve the lead. I think everyone needs to come in now. Carr's still going around, but surely he's got to come in next lap. Otherwise, if he comes in, he's going to lose the lead of this race that he's worked very hard for. Now we're looking at Tomaselli on the back of Gal. This and these guys are battling on dry tyres, but now is the time to go onto the wets, my friends, because it's clearly not dry anymore. And Tomaselli tried and failed, but Gal's gone very wide there, coming into the penultimate corner onto the back straight. And now Tomaselli's going to try and pass Gal, it looks like, into turn 15, the final corner. He's right in the slipstream. Actually, the gap is actually going up, actually. It's up to 29 seconds. I don't understand how that's possible, because clearly... and Tomaselli's got into the back of Gal. Have they saved it? I'm not sure. Hartz's gone past Tomaselli. He's going to try and go past Gal as well. And he's just about alongside him. But is he on the wet tyres? No, he's not, actually. He's on the dries. And Tomaselli has just gone past Gal as well. So Gal has been well and truly mugged there. 2 for 1. Hartz trying to make it through. He's past Tomaselli. But, Tomaselli struggling for grip on the dry, spins and goes into Gal. And I don't know if Gal got damage or not. Tomaselli is spun and literally on the main line into the first corner there, and he finally rejoins as Gal. I think he has got damage, and so he's going to go into the pits, and I imagine he'll go for the wet tyres. Car's still going around, but surely the dries can't be working. How he's managing to extend the lead over Volker? I guess maybe the inters are probably the way to go, because I actually interested to see where Jones was. He's the only one that went onto the inters. He was down at the back, but I have to say that's probably a risk worth taking when you're down at the back, because, well, there's only one way to get through the race. So Jones, he's in last still. He's way off Roberto Gamba, but I still think that's a pretty good idea from Manor to do, I have to say. But we're looking at Burnham 6th on the wet tyres. I mean, how they're still going for so long on these wet tyres, I've no idea. They must be overheating. And I think I saw Red Bull coming in. I believe that was... Mocho's around. Mocho spins on those dry tyres, really struggling now, and he was coming into the pit soon anyway, so he will have to pit for the wets or the inters, but he's obviously spun round coming through the double right-hander. Just look at that, just got no grip whatsoever, and yet he spins around. So there we go, pretty simple there. So Franco Gamba is in, and he will go onto the wet tyres. Anderson is in as well. Carr is still somehow, how is he extending his lead to Volker when Volker's on the wets and Carr's on the dries? I don't actually understand how that's possible. But there we go. Gamma is in the pits, and so is Anderson. So they're going to go on to the wet tyres, which they do so. And Gamma changes all 4 tyres. Will go out. Will he? Yes. Anderson is obviously in. There's another set of crew coming in. Byrne is in. Hutter is in as well. Tomaselli is coming in as well. So these guys are all going. Yep, everyone now going for the wet tyres. This is now the peak. So I'd imagine actually Carr will have to probably stay out a lap longer, but to be honest, he seems to be going pretty well on those dry tyres still. So he will have to come into the pits next lap. Gamma comes out in 6th behind Roke, who's still going on those dry tyres. But now it's all about when the drivers have gone onto the wet tyres. Like, how much grip will they have? I mean, most of them that pit now will have the most grip, but of course it will still continue to rain for the rest of the race, so it's going to be very interesting to see. I think all the drivers are going to have to make one more stop, as Carr now has finally come into the pits, and actually, hold on, Gal has changed his front wing from the damage, so this might affect Carr here, but we'll see. He's got a 32-second lead. Gal has only just come out of his pit box, so Carr may have to wait here for his pit crew to come. Mocho is in, Roberto Gamma is in, and Carr is coming in as well, so Carr may be held up a few seconds here, but will he get held up enough to lose the lead? I'm not sure. Now the crew have actually come out for him, so he's going to have to wait a few seconds. This will be very close to see if he still comes out ahead of Volker in the lead. The crew now finally coming out for him, and unfortunately for Gal, who had that damage as well, I had forgotten about that. Mocho is out the pits, Gal is out the pits. Carr now changes all 4 tyres, but he's by far going to be the quickest car on the track. He's looked so good in the dry and in the wet as well, so 15.9 seconds, so surely he'll lose the lead to Volker. Where is he? And that's going to be very close, but I think Volker is going to take the lead of the race, and the answer is yes, he does. So he'll take the lead, and there's Roberto Gamba, sorry, not Carr, that was Carr, coming out of the pits there, but he loses the lead. He would have kept it, but now the race is on. So we look at, this is Franco Gamba on the back of the Williams. This is the battle for P5, and that's a very unusual looking Williams, I have to say. And he's going to go past the Haas just so easily in a straight line, which he does so, but the House of Roke is coming into the pits now. He's got so much more fuel left to go, but he's going to have to come in because it's clearly too wet for dry. So Roke now finally does come into the pits. He's going to lose a lot of time, but he's going to be on the freshest tyres out of everyone here, and Jones actually still going around on those intermediate tyres, the only one to do it, and I have to say I like the team's thinking for that. But this is the battle for P. Oh, that was very close for P2. The battle between this is, I think, this is Carr, sorry, and Jay McKenzie. And McKenzie somehow managed to get past Carr. I thought he'd come out ahead of him, but obviously not. Carr now on the inside of McKenzie, who's gone very wide. I think Carr will take second back, and the answer is yes, he will. So Carr takes second from McKenzie, but the question is, will he, well, I think he will go after Volker, but how quickly will he catch up? I think he's just struggling to get to grips on those tyres. Now here is Franco Gamba on the back of Oliver Glazebrook. This is the battle for, I think, for P4. Gamba on fresh tyres, going to try and go around the outside of Glazebrook, coming down the front straight. I don't think it's going to work, but we'll see what happens into the first corner, and Anderson is just hanging there in the distance. Gamba going to try and go around the outside of Glazebrook. Is he going to do it? He might actually try and do it. Hold on. He's going to try and make it to the inside. Glazebrook gives him plenty of space, and I think Gamba is going to do it. Is he? Yes. Has he got it? Glazebrook is trying to hold it around the inside. Gamba round the outside, but he makes it stick. A great move there by Franco Gamba, and he goes past Oliver Glazebrook. So great overtake. There is Roke and Tomaselli very close, coming onto the back of going into the back of each other there, coming into the final corner. That was unbelievably close, as we've got a yellow flag out, and Mocho is off again. So it's been a pretty terrible race for Mocho. It's really turned well, he's doing okay, but it's just turned terribly. You can see he just got no grip, just goes straight off there and gets himself into the gravel, but he'll get himself out of it. Well, hopefully he will. And as we look, this is the battle for P5. This is Glazebrook under pressure from Julius Anderson behind him as they're coming through towards turn 4. Anderson going to make a move on the inside, just got so much better grip than what Glazebrook has, and he moves up into P5. Good recovery. Well, I mean, it's been a good recovery from Glazebrook as anyway, because they started low on the grid. And actually, here is Carr on the back of Volker, who actually has to pit in a few laps anyway. But Carr, who will be going quite a lot longer on this set of tyres at this moment in time, comes through the final corner. Just look at the grip he's got. He's just got to absolutely. I mean, just look at that. Goes past him almost like he's not there. But Volker will probably try and hold it into the final corner because Carr's not quite snuck through yet. Has he? Yes. No. He's going to try and hold it the inside Volker, but he can't. And Carr just on the fresher tyres and has just got through so easily. And I imagine he'll absolutely scoot away. And just look at the gap he's already got, almost like a second just on that corner alone. And fair play to Jones. He's now not last anymore. He's in 13th position. But Carr just went through Volker like he wasn't there. And so that's good news for him. But of course Volker will be coming into the pits in a few laps' time. But I don't imagine he'll go to the end. Well, I don't know if he will or not, to be honest. But I have to say this has been an absolutely fascinating race so far. We're only just about halfway through. So there we go. But at the moment, Carr leads ahead of Volker in second position. McKenzie is third. Gamba is in fourth. Anderson fifth. Glazebrook in sixth. That is the order at the moment. And look at that, just a second in the first sector alone is Carr. He's coming up to lap the McLaren here of Roberto Gamba. And I have to say, it's been quite an exceptional race so far for Malaysia. We're only just about halfway through, and absolutely anything and everything has happened as we're looking at Roberto Gamba getting lapped by Carr. As there's McKenzie right now on his own in third. He seems to be struggling for... Oh, he's gone wide there. He's struggling for grip. He's in a comfortable third position, but he's not going to be able to close up to Volker if he makes those kind of mistakes. But yeah, there's the rest of the order. So Burns 7th, Hutter is 8th, Roke is in 9th, and Tomaselli in 10th. That is the top 10 so far of this race. So there we are. So we're looking at Amar Carr, who's coming on to the back straight, and you can see the rain is certainly coming down a bit now And Mocho, he's just all over the place in that car, really all over the place. Just can't control it. But the gap to Volker is now 4 seconds, and Mackenzie is 8 seconds behind as well, and Frankie Gamma is way off as well, down there in 4th place, but he's had a good race so far anyway. As we look at Mocho once again struggling for grip, got no grip whatsoever, and so he's pretty much now in last position. That is where he is, and that's what's happened to him. Here is Oliver Glazebrook in the McLaren, who's gone way off the circuit. Oh my word, he has gone off badly, and he's hit the wall at a very high speed there, and I'd be surprised if he has not got any damage from that. But he went off at some exceptional speed. Did he get any damage from that? Let's have a look. And the answer is yes, he did. He goes into the wall and gets a severe amount of damage. Loses his rear wing, and I think he lost his front wing as well, I'm not sure. And here is the Renault of Byrne, who looks to have a problem, and Byrne is slowing down, and he is going to be out of this race. And Evan Byrne, who's having a pretty encouraging race in the lower reach of the top 10, is out of the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now here is the battle for 9th position. This is between Gal and Tomaselli. So Gal, he's right on the back. He's going to swap to the left. Does the dummy on the inside? Is he going to make it stick? Oh, he's gone into Tomaselli again. It's another disastrous moment for Gal. It's been it's been a terrible race for him as he comes into the pits, and well, he's now just hit the wall and he's out. He is out of the Malaysian Grand Prix, and that has pretty much just summed it up right there in a nutshell. But Gal is out of this race and into the pits. He's coming to the pit lane, but he's got 3 wheels on his wagon, and I don't think he's going to make it through. He's just coming to the pit entry as well, so let's hope that no one comes to the pits and blocks him, because that would be pretty annoying for many drivers. So there we go. But Gal is going to be out of this race, it seems, as we look at the car just slowly trudging through the speed, going down to 8, 7, 6, 5. I was hoping it would go down a bit quicker now. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and now the car is in neutral. So there we go. That is confirmation. So Gal out, and well, it's just been a race of attrition for him. And so far, in general, it has been a race of attrition. But I'm just hoping there's no cars that come into the pits that are in the way, because otherwise Gal will be blocking them. But as we look at Frankie Gamma running a very impressive race, and actually there's the confirmation, so I think the marshals are pushing it away. Here is Mocho on the back of Etienne Jones. This is the battle for to not be last, and Mocho has got through past Jones into 11th position, I think that was. At the moment, Armagh Car got a very nice lead. Here is Jones at the moment, still running on those Inters. He's the only one actually who's on those green tyres, which is very interesting to see. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I like the tactics from Manor really. As we look at him coming into the heavy. Look at Hutter. Look at Hutter. He's all over the place. Looks like someone who's had too much on a night out, just going left, right. Doesn't know what direction he's going in, and he just about keeps his car on the road. There's Roke actually closing up behind him. We've got a yellow flag out on track, and it's it's Franco Gamba in P4, and oh no, and that was from Etienne Jones. So that is what happened. So Jones goes into the back of him just after he'd been lapped. And oh my word, that is going to be infuriating for Franco Gamba, who had such a good race. And to have that happen to him is going to be a punch in the stomach for sure. Now this is the battle for 2nd place. This is Volker and Mackenzie. And Mackenzie is through into 2nd position. Great move there by the Polish driver. And so this battle is going on. Seems for P2. I don't know what the gap is to Carl, but I imagine if Volker has dropped to Mackenzie, it's going to be quite big. Now here is Roke, who's actually got past his teammate Hutter actually. So Hutter, who we saw was struggling quite, a lot I should say. And Volker actually has gone into the pits. So I don't know if he'll be going to the end or not, but I'll just be interested to see what the gap is between Carl and Mackenzie. But if Volker's only just in the pits, the gap is going to be huge. But right now, my car is just a man on a mission. He looks unbeatable today. Really does. He's shown unbelievable pace. I mean, he has managed to somehow get away from Volker on dry tyres when it was the track was still pretty wet, so fair play to him. As we look at Mocho in 10th position at this moment in time, he's had a pretty struggled all race really, and as we look at him coming towards turn 4 on his own at the moment, he's got past Jones. So I believe we haven't got actually many cars yet. I think we've only got about half the field left, and we've still got 20 laps to go. but we'll look at it coming through. So at the moment, obviously, Carr is first, Mackenzie second, Anderson temporarily moving up into third position. So that is good news for him. As we're looking at Volker, who's dropped down to fourth, so Volker will have to go past Anderson for the podium at this moment in time. But I imagine he'll get past him pretty easily. But as we look at the rest of the order, so yeah, there's only 11 cars now left in this race, with Jones being the last of them. Anderson is still got... is he going to the end? The answer is no, he's not. So at the moment, it doesn't look like... well, Volker will get past him, obviously, because he'll be on fresher tyres and he'll go to the end. And actually, no, he won't, actually, because for some reason, Volker is not going to the end. I thought he would be, but clearly they're going for the strategy of, on fresher tyres with less fuel, they'll close up to him, I suppose, even quicker, really. That's an interesting strategy from Ferrari, but look at the gap, 42 seconds. That's ridiculous. But Volker is struggling to get to grips with these tyres at this moment in time, and at the moment, if he doesn't get a hurry on, then he could be lapped by Carr at this point. But here is now Volker, who's finally got himself together, and is now all over the back of the Swede of Anderson. And is he going to be able to make a Swede overtake into the final corner? Now, who you are looking, this is at, I think this is Joel Hutter still, who is was really struggling on those tyres and still hasn't actually gone into the pits. Here is Tomaselli, who is battling with the McLaren of Oliver Glazebrook as they're coming through, heading towards the left hairpin. Looking at Volker, who had actually got past Anderson, so that's pretty comfortable. Glazebrook has made contact with Tomaselli, has kind of ruthlessly pushed him out of the way, but he had to do what he had to do to get through, so he's now up into 7th position as Tomaselli gets a bit of air off the curve there, but fortunately actually no damage, which is actually quite lucky. And so there we go. Tomaselli goes a bit wide as well, probably struggling on those tyres. He'll be pitting in a few laps time, and I imagine he will probably go to the end. But it's all about now, because the rain is still going to continue coming down. But look at the gap, it's 53 seconds. I swear it was like 40, wasn't it, a second ago. But Mackenzie actually is pitting this lap, so he is really struggling on the tyres. He's struggling so much that Mocho is trying to unlap himself as they come towards the hairpin. So at the moment in time, Carr might even be lapping the top 3 at this moment in time. He's just so on point with that car. Car and machine and human are all working very well together. And actually, Carr's pitting this lap as well, actually, as a matter of fact. So there we go. So I imagine he will go to the end. Mackenzie will probably go to the end as well, but he's obviously been unlapped by Michael Mocho, but he's really struggling on those tyres. But it seems that Carr, no matter what tyres you can put on, you can probably put tyres, you could probably put snow tyres on his car, and he'd still probably get away from the field. That's how quick he is. But he is obviously pitting this lap, as you can see. Mackenzie will be pitting as well. Volker will take 2nd place back, but he will be pitting before the end as well. So I'd be interested to see, actually. That will be interesting to see, actually, how that works out, I would say, as we look at Mackenzie coming into the pits for the, I would imagine, the final time. But it'll be interesting to see, because Mackenzie will be going to the end, I would imagine. Volker will be pitting in a few laps' time, and Volker will clearly have the fresher tyres. So I think we could see a nice battle still brewing for 2nd place towards the end of this race. But I don't know. I mean, this race has been absolutely crazy so far. But as we look at Mackenzie going on to another set of wet tyres, and I mean the rain is still coming down, so it's pretty wet out there now. So either wets or extremes. I don't know what the teams are going to do. But as we look at Mackenzie, who is coming out of the pits, we're looking at Volker, who is lapping the McLaren here of, I think that's Roberto Gamba, I think. I'm not sure, I believe it is. But at the moment, Carr's got a 37-second lead over Volker, and he'll be on fresher tyres. Roke is coming in for his final stop of the race as well, and Carr, as you can see, is just getting away so quickly from the drivers in front. Anderson is going to be pitting in a few laps' time as well. So I think the guys who are going to be pitting the latest will be the ones with the advantage here, because the rain is going to keep coming down, and particularly if they have decided to go on just the standard wet tyres and not the extreme wet tyres, because the track looks very almost ice, kind of like an ice rink, because you could see the how shiny it is, and that's how wet it is. So I'm interested to see what happens towards the end of the race, I think. But Mackenzie at the moment running in 3rd. But as we're looking at Oliver Glazebrook, who right now is running in P5, he'll be pitting in a few laps' time as well. So at the moment, Anderson and Glazebrook will be pitting. Hutter will be, I think, still pitting as well. I don't know about Tomaselli, if he still needs to pit or not. Hutter will have to pit, but I'm surprised he's still going, because he's been struggling for like the last probably 10 laps or so on those tyres, and he really is treading on eggshells. But I don't know who actually is going to get the lower end of the top 4. I mean, Roke is, I think, the only one out of the drivers in the top 10 who is going to the end at this moment in time. Tomaselli isn't, Anderson isn't, Glazebrook isn't. So Roke is the latest one that will be going to the end, but he's all over the place. You can see, look at that. Roke goes past Tomaselli, and oh no, that looked, oh my word. And Tomaselli, I thought they were going to see a bigger crash than that, but Tomaselli making contact with Roke, and Roke fortunately gets away unscathed. But as I said, Roke so far is going to the end. Glazebrook is coming in and will go to the end. So at the moment, I think Roke is going to be in 4th position when all these guys have made their stops. But of course, I don't know if he'll keep it or not, because many of these guys are going to be on much fresher tyres than he will, and particularly fresher tyres on a wet, well, on a dry track is important, but particularly on a wet track, on a very wet track I might add, is probably, I'd say, doubly important. So Glazebrook comes in from 5th position, and he'll go to the end, of course. And now Volker actually coming in as well on the same lap, so he will go, of course, to the end. So we'll see a battle for P2, because, well, I mean, it might as well be a battle for the lead, because Carl's just on another planet. He might as well be on another continent at this point. He's probably already in Brazil at this point, he's that far ahead. But Glazebrook comes out in 7th, so he comes up behind Hutter. Tomaselli has come into the pits as well for his final stop. So Volker, I think, will come out. Actually, will he come up behind Mackenzie? I think he will. I don't know what the gap was between the two, but I imagine he'll come up behind. Well, if he does, then he'll catch up to him pretty quickly. Hutter is still going, but he is... how the team have left him out for so long, I don't know. They've really hung him out to dry compared to Roke at this moment in time. He is really, really struggling on those tyres. He's still got about probably 2 or 3 laps before he even pits, but he's all over the place. So look at that, he's almost tiptoeing around the circuit. Volker has come up behind Mackenzie, but I imagine in about a lap or so, well, 2 laps time I'd say, he'll catch up to him and pass him. But just look at the order. So Carr is leading, Mackenzie is 2nd, Volker is 3rd, Anderson is 4th, but he has to pit, so Roke will take 4th position. But of course, I'm interested to see what happens with the drivers behind, because all of them are pitted, and Anderson will pit after Roke as well. So I don't know. I still don't know what the rest of the finishing order is going to be like right now. I have to say, we're going into the last 10 laps of this race, and well, I think 1st position is decided, but pretty much all the other positions are yet to be decided. But Carr at the moment just on a race of his own, just yeah, just nothing really more I can say about that. Mocho in 9th position had a pretty not a very good race so far, but he's going to get some points, it looks like. Well, as long as he keeps his car on the circuit, that is. I forgot to check his fuel there if he was going to the end or not. Anderson is going to be pitting in a few laps' time. The moment he'll be doing the 3-stop, but he's tiptoeing around as well a lot. Hutter will be pitting as well, but he's been severely affected by the team deciding not to pit him earlier than what they should have done. That is for sure. But yeah, so there we go. We're looking at Mackenzie right now in 2nd place, and here is Hutter actually. He's going to be overtaken by Glazebrook, who's just going to comfortably go around the outside of him and take 6th position away from him. But it must be absolute torture for Hutter just to carry on going the way he is with no grip whatsoever, and the team seemingly not letting him in. He goes wide again. But oh dear, not really much else you can say at this moment in time other than poor Hutter. But at the moment we're looking at the race leader Armar Carr on his own in the lead. Florian Volker at the moment on his own in 3rd, as Anderson has gone wide and he goes off the track. He comes back on. He's struggling on those tyres as well, and that's going to be good news for Roke behind, because he'll close up on Anderson if he is struggling this much. But as we're looking at now, Jay Mackenzie in the lead. I say in the lead because Carl's has said on another planet. I've said that before. Volker is definitely closing though, so we could still see a battle brewing for second position at this moment in time. And Hutter goes around again for about the 7,000th time this race, and I don't know why the team haven't just brought him in. I mean, he must be wearing just, as I said, snow tyres, but there we go, just all over the place. And there we go, so he's around, he's still going, he is still going, he really is. And as we look at him coming through the double right hander, I imagine he's probably gone off there as well. And wow, what a surprise, he's gone off. And there we go. And actually, you see, speaking of going off, Anderson has come into the pits, and now look at that, Hutter's going to lose the place to Tomaselli. He's down to 8th position, so he's really, the amount of time he lost, he could have easily had a top 6 from this race, and the team have well and truly screwed him over. Anderson has obviously come in, so he's dropped to 6th position, and that's where he'll come out of the pits. He'll be in clear air. Glazebrook is not, I don't know, Glazebrook is a little bit in front of him, but Anderson will be on fresh tyres, and the Williams, I think, is definitely the better car than the McLaren. So I'll be interested to see if they have a battle towards the end, and actually if they catch up to Roke as well, because even though Roke's probably quite far clear ahead of them, they're going to be on much fresher tyres, they're going to have a lot more grip. So at the moment, Roke on for his best finish of the season, in 4th, but as I said, it is absolutely not over yet. The gap is, I think, what's that, 10 seconds, I think that says. So I think Glazebrook could easily close that in just 8 laps, particularly at the end when the tyres are going to go off. And here we go, and the battle for second place is on. Volker on fresher tyres, going to be on the inside of Jay McKenzie. He's now passed him for second position, and that, I imagine, is going to be the podium position secure right there. The front 3 of Carr, Volker and McKenzie. I don't see that changing because, well, Volker's never going to catch up to Carr. He's almost a lap ahead of everyone. He's lapped, I think, everyone apart from, I think, the Volker and yeah, I think he has. And finally, Joel Hutter is going to be coming into the pits this lap. They said the team have torched him enough. They thought, you know what, we've had fun playing him around. You know, and as he goes off again, he slides off, and there we go. He loses even more time. I don't know how far he's ahead of Roberto Gamba. He might even lose 9th, but he might even drop down to possibly 10th. It might actually be that bad, because he's got no grip whatsoever, and I imagine Gamba's closing up. He's down to 20 seconds, so he's going to lose 9th, and I wonder if he'll lose even more positions. Well, he's struggling. They'll drop down to at least 10th, but, well, he's off again. He is off again. So he really is struggling on these tyres. It's going to be a torture run for him to get to the pits. As we look at Hutter, we've been looking at him for a long time, and he's coming through the hairpin, tiptoeing round, and see him coming through the right hander, heading towards the end of the lap. At this point, I'm going to be aging about 10 years by the time he gets to the pits, because he's just me going wide at every single corner. And I was just seeing the gap actually at the front. Volker is over a minute behind. This is almost like a Lewis Hamilton-esque drive this from Carr, just so much quicker than everyone else on any surface of track. But as he comes tiptoeing Hutter around the final corner, or the penultimate corner, and, well, because I'm struggling to lose the will to live, look, because of him, just the way the team have treated him so far this race, he's set to finally come into the pits, and now he finally does, and I'd be surprised if he actually makes it into the pit entry safely at this point, because the tyres, he must be at least running on rims, or I don't know, but he finally comes in. He'll drop behind Roberto Gamba. That's how far back he's dropped, and I imagine he might even drop behind Mocho, which would be even doubly embarrassing for the Haas crew. But he finally comes in to the pits for his final stop, and there goes Roberto Gamba up into 8th position. Now I think with that he'll drop behind Mocho as well. He'll drop to 10th, and Mocho just gone across the line, and he drops to 10th position. He'll come out ahead of Jones, I think, well, unless Jones has closed up a lot, I'm not sure. But as we look at our car right now on his own in the lead of this race, but Joel Hutter has dropped, oh dear, he actually has dropped down to 11th. Now that is pretty bad. And here's Glazebrook, who is lapping his teammate Roberto Gamba there. Moves up into 5th position. Well, he is already in 5th, sorry, but he laps his teammate Roberto Gamba. So good result so far for Glazebrook. still behind Roke, but there's still 5 laps left, and Hutter has gone off, and I think Jones has gone into him, and I believe he's got damage because I saw a bit of debris there, unless that was Jones. I'm not sure actually who that was, but he's got damage nonetheless. But you can see Volker actually is closing. Shock horror, he actually is closing. It's now down by about 2 seconds last time I saw, but it's not going to matter. Carr can just easily just drift his way to the end of this race. Mackenzie is going to be in a very lonely 3rd position because, of course, Roke is never going to catch up to him. Tomaselli at the moment running on his own in 7th position as we look at him coming through the double right-hander and heading towards... He's been, again, another good race from Tomaselli. I have to say he's definitely outperformed his teammate Sontag this season. Sontag, of course, sadly out of this race as well. We're looking at Amar Carr coming through the double right-hander at this moment in time on lap 52 of the race. We're looking at him coming through the hairpin. It's been just... I mean, I've repeated it again and again and again and again, but Carr has had an unbelievable race. There's really no other way of putting it. I mean, he's lapped the whole entire field up until Roke, and it was Mocho who's coming into the pits to change his wings. So Mocho was the one who had damage. So there we go. Anderson right now in 6th position. Still, Mocho in 11th. Only 11 cars still left running in this race. As we look at Roke right now coming through the double right-hander in 4th position as he comes through and heading towards the hairpin as he running in P4. This would be his best finish of the season if he does keep 4th position. His best finish so far this season was 6th in China, and that was after he went into the back of, I think it was actually Etienne Jones on the first lap. As we're looking at Hutter, who is right now in 10th position. There's a big battle here up ahead, and what's going on here? Let's keep it calm, guys. We've only got a few laps to go. Hutter battling, trying to unlap himself on the freshest tyres out of everyone. So there we are, Hutter in 9th position. He's right behind the manner of Jones, and they're stuck behind Roberto Gamba, who is really struggling on his tyres. Jones is going to try and go around the outside. Hutter's there as well. Hutter's got past Jones, and it's like he'll go past Roberto Gamba in a minute. As there's Julius Anderson, who's really stuck in the middle of this, and he really doesn't want to be, as Hutter is surely just going to go past Roberto Gamba on the straight here, and look at that, just goes past him like he's not there. He is on the freshest tyres out of everyone here, so he's now moved up into 8th position. I don't know if he'll catch up to Tomaselli before the end. I'm not sure what the gap is, but here is Jones, who's going to make a move on the inside of Roberto Gamba, and he does make it stick, and he's now up into 9th position. So far Jones from the back in 9th, and I think it's been a good recovery for him, I have to say, considering the fact that he, of course, was started from last, and he has been running last most of this race, to be honest. And you can see actually there's Glazebrook, and actually here's the battle for P4. So Glazebrook has now caught up to the back of Roke, who's got a terrible exit through the corner. The tyres have definitely gone on Roke, and Glazebrook is all going to go past Roke there. I thought there was going to be a bit of contact, and there nearly was. Roke is going to try and dive back up the inside of Glazebrook, and he's not going to make a stick, although Glazebrook gets a bad run out of the corner. But I was wondering if Glazebrook would catch up to the back of Roke, and he has. So Glazebrook's had to take another impressive result for McLaren in P4, as we're now on to the last lap of the race. It has been an incredibly long one, I have to say, but here is your race leader, Amar Carr, and what a race he has had. He has dominated from, well, ever since he got past Volker. Just the pace in that car was unbelievable. Just imagine if he hadn't been battling with, I think it was Mackenzie, so much earlier in the race. He could have easily had a bigger gap than what he... Well, I think he could have lapped the whole entire field, to be honest. I was about to say, because he's led the whole race and he's got a big gap anyway, but I think he could have lapped the entire field if he'd hadn't battled with Mackenzie so much, because when he got past Volker he was away. So he's shown some unbelievable pace. The gap actually is coming down quite a bit now. It's now just about a minute ahead, but of course he's on probably the oldest tyres out of the top 3, but he won't really care because he's just comfortably going to stroll to victory here at Malaysia, and what could possibly be the final race. And if keyword is if this is the final race, then it is some way to go out here for Malaysia, and this will be another victory for Amar Carr, and he'll get himself into title contention with this win. I have to say, he'll get himself right into it. This will be his, I think it will be his 3rd victory of the season. No, I think it's 4th victory of the season. I think it will be, as Amar Carr is coming down the back straight for the 56th and the final time as he comes round the final corner. What a performance from Amar Khan. He comes round the final corner and he is going to win the Malaysian Grand Prix. What a performance. Unbelievable from Amar Khan. As Glazebrook, we're looking here, is set to take P4, and I'm pretty sure I saw the Williams of Anderson there on the back of Roke, I think. So I think Roke could be under pressure for P5 here, possibly, on the last lap. So Glazebrook, a great performance from him, despite going into the wall, as there is Roke, and there is Anderson, I think, who's got past Roke, coming onto the back straight there. I think he's got past him. Yes, he has. So Anderson passes Roke for P5 on the last lap. That's pretty gutting for Roke, who was running P4 with just 2 laps to go, and unfortunately the tyres have gone off for him, and he's going to lose 5th position. But Glazebrook, a great recovery despite losing his rear wing and having that big spin. Anderson takes 5th, and Hutter actually passes Roke as well, but Roke still finishes 6th. Florian Volker, he'll be pretty happy, I think, with 2nd place, considering the fact that he was leading for the first bit of the race, but once cast at the lead, he never looked back. So we look at Volker coming across the line, and he will take 2nd position. Etienne Jones, he'll be pretty happy getting some points out of this race, considering the fact that he was last for a good majority of it. As we're looking at the Toro Rosso Mocho, been a pretty torrid race for him, but for Roberto Gamba as well, on his dead tyres, he will come across the line in 11th, as Mackenzie is going to try and pass him into the final corner here. As you can see, he's on the inside as Mackenzie, and he'll pass him, so he'll take 3rd position. So that's good for Mackenzie. He'll get himself closer to the top 2. Of course, this is good for everyone behind Nella and Willis, because of course those two both retired from this race. So Mackenzie across the line in 3rd, and then here comes Tomaselli in 7th position. A good result for him. So there we go. That is the race over, and that seemed to go on for an absolute eternity, but absolutely anything and everything happened in this race. So here we go. Here is the full race results from the Malaysian Grand Prix. Amar Khan winning from Florian Volker in 2nd, and Jamie Mackenzie in 3rd. The last car on the lead lap, Oliver Glazebrook in 4th, Julius Anderson 5th, Roke in 6th, Tomaselli 7th, Hutter 8th, Jones in 9th, and Mocho completing the points for Toro Rosso in 10th. Roberto Gamba, the last car to finish, in 11th position. Amar Khan taking the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:33.145. And the following drivers will retire from this race: F. Gamba, Miklas Gal, Evan Byrne, Felix Sontag, Woolnella, Roda Moichin, Franco Lopez, Tirabi, Niall Tiernan, Nicholas Zorbach, Joseph Willows, and Rick Yan. So there we go. That was said just an unbelievable. That's probably one of the most chaotic and action-packed races I think we've ever had. Now in the Drivers' Championship, here it is. Now this is, look at that. So Nella at 1 point ahead of Willows in 2nd still. Mackenzie closing up on the front 2, 1 point ahead of Amar Khan in 3rd position. Florian Volker also gaining a good amount of ground in 5th position. Miklas Gal, I'd say, probably is out of the title race, I'd say, unless he has a good recovery. Jan and Anderson there, 7th and 8th. The rest of the order: Michael Mocho moving up to 12th, just from getting that 1 point. Glaze moving up to 17th, ahead of Roke and Tomaselli, despite him getting points. Tomaselli. Jones moving ahead of Felix Sontag into 20th position. Pascal in 22nd, of course, the last driver being Nicholas Zorbach with 0 points. So there we go. Now we'll take a look finally at the constructors' standings from the Malaysian Grand Prix, and I'll be interested to see what they look like now. And Mercedes still leading ahead of Ferrari. The gap is, it's pretty small, and actually there's a 30-point gap to Red Bull in 3rd, so any of these 3 teams could still win the Constructors' Championship at this moment in time. Forcini just ahead of Williams in 4th position, and Renault, Toro Rosso, McLaren, Haas, Sauber and Manor, so it's close everywhere in the Constructors. But there we go, that has been the Malaysian Grand Prix. That was unbelievably long, I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the Japanese Grand Prix here at Suzuka, where hopefully the race won't be as long, so I'll have a bit of sanity left. But anyway, guys, see you there.